Hello and welcome to game 3 in the match against Russ2. We have our kingdom here that doesn't seem very exciting at all. One crossroads for actions, no draw. Well, cavalry could draw with the horses, right? But with the limited actions, there's not much you could do here. Even though there's a heap of green in the kingdom. Rebuild looks like it, and I really don't like to play with rebuild, honestly. Those games are not very interesting to me, and they all seem to follow the same pattern, and it looks like this kingdom is one of those where you go with rebuild. But there is something clever here that you can do, and that is arms to buy cavalry, draw 2, then you get to throw some coppers in play and maybe buy something cute. So Russ2 goes for it. They get an urchin, which I don't really care about that much. I go for it, and I get to 5, which that just doesn't seem right. That's not fair. But that's the game, unfortunately. Arms on cavalry, we get to 5, and 5 means rebuild. So we get to rebuild before them, and we get to rebuild on turn 1, which is incredible. So they get their rebuild here after making the same arms cavalry play. I do it again here to try to find my rebuild. I don't get the money for rebuild either. I do not want to buy a cavalry here. I much rather use arms to gain the cavalries. So my choices here are, I don't care about the urchin either. In fact, urchin could even be actively helpful to the rebuild player to get green out of their hand that they would like to find with the rebuild. So I don't really want the urchin. So it's between silver and improve for me. I think I choose the improve at this point because there is an off chance, a very slim chance that improve connects with a rebuild at some point, and then I'm able to improve the rebuild into a harem or a farmland for some extra points. Very slim chance I decide to do it that way. Even though I have the cavalries in the deck, I plan to enhance these cavalries at some point in the game here. So I don't actually have them as terminals. Anyway, so Russ2 makes again arms cavalry. We'll do that until they run out. And they enhance one of their cavalries into a rebuild. So I think they have 2 rebuild now. I get to play my first rebuild. We skip past the other 2 terminals in the deck. I could play this cavalry, or I could first use arms to draw a couple more, then enhance the cavalry. I think that is what I end up doing here. I hope that's what I end up doing here, because that is the smart play. Yeah, okay, thank you. And you could keep the horses in the deck, or you could enhance. So I choose to enhance into a rebuild. I think that is better. Too many cavalries in the deck anyway. Russ2 plays their rebuild, plays their urchin. Not harmful here at all. Arms on cavalry. And they enhance a horse this time into a rebuild. So they have 3 rebuild. I find my rebuild of the arms cavalry. And with 4 is not 5, unfortunately. I choose to buy a silver instead. Not another improve. Maybe they might collide. I was worried. So we get the silver instead. That seems to be the next best option. Alright, so Russ2 enhances yet another cavalry into another rebuild. So they have 4 of them, I believe. I only have the 2. Feeling a bit behind at this point. All my estates now have been turned into duchies. We arms cavalry once more, and then enhance a cavalry into a 3rd rebuild. And there goes the last cavalry via arms. Okay, and then Russ2 makes a nice play here, enhances a cavalry, not into a rebuild this time, but into a duchy. Now the duchy pile is getting thin, and they can have up to 4 duchies. I think they have 3 of them and an estate at this point. Alright, so here's my rebuild. I only have duchies in the deck now, right? So we name province, skip to hit the duchy, convert it to province. 4 now is our silver. I thought about gardens. It's too early for gardens though. Rebuild for Russ2 converts their final estate into a duchy. There goes a duchy into a province. Again, the urchin attack does nothing. Couple horses for them. 2 is going to be a crossroads. That's a fair buy on 2. Rebuild. Skip in province to find another duchy. Convert that to province. And I enhance this cavalry to pick up the last duchy. So we split the duchies 4-4. I think about I actually connect the improve with the rebuild here. So I think about making the play, converting it to farmland or harem. But I think it's too early for that. I still want the rebuilds in the shuffle at least one more time. All right, more rebuild action for Russ2. Get some nice draw from the crossroads as well. But I don't think they find any more rebuild at this point. Oh, they do. They're just calculating. So they mill a province intentionally. They name their state. Probably because you see what happened? The 2 duchies were in their hand. This is why I didn't want the urchin in my deck. Then they could have discarded that duchy and upgraded it into a province. So they were not able to do so here because the duchies were stuck in hand. That is also part of the reason why I wasn't too keen on playing any of my cavalries. I don't think I played any of my cavalries to gain horses because rebuild is a kind of funny card. You don't really want to draw too many cards with rebuild. You want your rebuild to go into your deck and find the green. If you draw, then the green comes in your hand and rebuild says, well, come on, this doesn't work for me. Anyways, gardens now for Russ2 makes sense. Here's our rebuild. I still have duchies in the deck, so we name province, gain another province. We have one more duchy left. I really am thinking about playing this cavalry because I don't want to, for reasons that I just explained. I choose to do so in the end. The deck is a little bit bigger now, so maybe drawing the odd card is not as bad. And arms to gain a gardens here. Instead of picking up the estate, the gardens is worth more points, right? And now could name rebuild, skip gardens, and find the last duchy, hopefully. They gain another gardens via arms and some horses as well. So rebuild here. I'm trying to think about what green cards that I saw, and I am able to figure out that the duchy is still in the deck. So I do find it with the rebuild. Upgrade it into a province. The improve is here even with the rebuild as well. So we will stick that into play. And I am going to buy arms to gain gardens. And here, with only one province left in the pile, I do choose to upgrade the rebuild into, well, it doesn't matter what because the points is the same. Maybe it might matter. The harem helps me buy things more easily than the farmland. So I take the harem for 2 points, and that prompts Russ2 to resign. And I think that's a reasonable decision because I'm 8 points ahead. What can they do? They may be able to improve one of their duchies into province. That's 3 points. And where are the other 6 points coming from? Gardens. We go 1 for 1 on the gardens until they finish and the game is done. So we just get lucky here. This is nothing particularly clever or exciting. Just the rebuild draws worked out for me better than it did for us. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.